Hi, so I'm favorite bisexual, like and subscribe, alright. So today we're going to be talking about masturbation and some small mistakes that you might be making according to something online. Now, these aren't actual facts, nor do I believe all of them. This is just some information that might be out there, and you can kind of consider whether or not they're true or false. And I have a Patreon as well. This is my Patreon. There's a full frontal nudity, and I have a lot of videos on there where I do questionable things I can't really mention on YouTube. So if you're interested, you can go check it out. All right. So, okay. So, friends, sometimes one small mistake can change your entire life. And when it comes to sexual health, even tiny habits can silently destroy your future. But is this one of them? Probably not. But let's get into a little bit further. Masturbation or self-pleasuring is common. But most men make 5 dangerous mistakes afterwards. So it's not during masturbation, it's afterwards, apparently, according to some research I've done. Now, what are these mistakes? So, 5 things that you should never do after masturbation, because they can lead to erection problems according to some research. Lead to erection problems, faster aging, and prostate issues. Now, this is some of the research that came up. Now, is it believable? Not really. So this is why you kind of have to be careful about the information that you get online, because some of it can sound quite ridiculous. Now, some people are ashamed of them masturbating, which could have a negative effect on somebody's mental health, of course, because whenever you're ashamed of something, it can have a negative effect on your emotional health. So that's why it's really important to not be ashamed of something that's actually quite common. But yet sometimes it's really difficult to. So if it's something that brings shame, that brings a negative psychological effect on your mental health, the best thing to do is probably just talk about it. And that would help. Talk about it to somebody that you trust and that you know that it's not going to judge you. So that's kind of like a way to fix that issue or prospect of it. And some people say that, okay, well, it's not, of course, masturbation isn't going to hurt you, but it's after what you do afterwards that there's a risk involved. So what are those risks? Well, what do people claim those risks are? So, of course, after masturbation, you are extremely relaxed and your body just kind of goes into a relaxation mode. And your testosterone temporarily drops. And your blood pressure spikes because, well, it does increase the blood pressure a little bit because, it's kind of like an increase in a heart rate and stuff like that. So it could be damaging if you have heart problems or high blood pressure or low blood pressure, depending on which one you have. It could possibly create a problem in that sense. So according to some people, or the research I've done, that you shouldn't fall asleep immediately after your release, because that could be harmful, because it releases prolactin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. And that's why most guys crash right away. But when you fall asleep right after, your blood circulation slows down, according to some research here. But that slows down the blood circulation, and the toxins that should be flushed out stays in your system, according to this. But I'm not too sure about what this is. It sounds a little bit odd to me. I'm not sure how accurate this research is, but apparently these are things that you shouldn't do after masturbation. And they also claim that your stamina and your erection quality drops after ejaculation. But of course that happens. That's just how the body works. But I don't think that's a negative effect of masturbation. That's just the aftermath of sex for men. For women, it's different. I've heard women say that after sex they become really hyper and hyped up, and they get very energetic. But for men, it's the complete opposite. But I don't think that they're kind of like putting this into like if it's like a negative thing. But I don't think it's a negative thing at all. I think it's just a normal everyday thing. What do you guys think? And they claim that this is a negative thing because it brings down your testosterone and it makes you less amped up. Now, this is true because that's why they don't want football players or anybody that competes in competitions to have sex before they go play a big game or a game or something like that, because if they have sex before, it drops their testosterone down, then they're not like as energetic or as aggressive in the sport. So that's actually true. But I don't think that that's a negative thing, unless of course you're going to go play a sport right after that requires you to win the game because it's really important to. But if you're just gonna watch TV afterwards, it's not really a big issue as they make it appear to be. So the situation that you're in, it all plays a factor into everything. And they also say that you shouldn't take a cold shower right after sex because it shocks your body. And the cold water will shock your blood vessels into shrinking very rapidly, and that could cause some maybe heart problems. But I don't think that has anything to do with sex. I think that's just me. Like if you take a cold shower, like a cold ice water plunge, it doesn't matter. It's going to shrink your blood vessels, and you're danger of going into shock. So I really don't think that it has anything to do with sex. I think it just has to do with, or masturbation. It just has to do with the way your body works, no matter depending on what situation you're in. And after like a cold shower or something, it will make your blood vessels shrink, and it might make your penis look smaller than it really is. But that's just shrinkage. That doesn't have to do with anything has from a negative effect, things that you shouldn't do after masturbating. That's just biology. That's just how your body works. Your blood vessels are going to shrink if you're exposed to cold water, and shrinkage is actually a real thing because it shrinks up to get closer to your body to find like warmth. It's just the way it works. So it's not really anything to do with what they're talking about in this forum over here. And they also claim that warm water will make your blood vessels like open up, and then you have more blood circulation. But that's just typical. That's just like And they also say that after masturbation you shouldn't consume alcohol or smoke cigarettes. But that's just, you shouldn't be smoking or drinking alcohol regardless if you're into looking out for your health. That doesn't have anything to do with not not doing them after masturbation. You probably shouldn't be doing them before or other any other time. And they also claim that like after masturbation that you can have the results of fatigue, which we already talked about. But they also claim that it will make your body produce more, make your body build estrogen, which can lead to body fat and low energy. But this is what they're claiming, but I don't really think that's really accurate. So they also say that you have to hydrate after ejaculation, which, yeah, you probably should, because it does dehydrate you a little bit because the fluid's coming out of your body, but it's not really, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. But you should always hydrate regularly anyway. And one of the other things that they also mentioned that you should avoid through masturbation, which this is what it's one of the things I agree with. All of the other things, it's kind of like touchy. It's to avoid guilt after masturbation, because I know that some people feel guilty after the fact of masturbation because maybe they were told that it was wrong or something like that. For some people, that is true, that they do feel guilt afterwards, and it's something that you should try to get over or find ways to overcome that, because you should never feel guilty about pleasuring yourself. It's your own body, and you can touch your own body however you want to, because it belongs to you. Why should somebody else be able to touch it but not yourself? It doesn't make any sense. So if you feel guilty about it, well, you should probably talk to somebody about it if it's affecting you negatively, because it really shouldn't. It should be, you shouldn't have any guilt about it at all. And if you do, when you're watching this video, absolutely have no guilt. You're not doing anything wrong, and it's perfectly normal, and more than half the world population does it, so it's totally cool. It's normal, absolutely normal. Because well, there's people kind of like they teach you, or they might tell you that it's dirty and wrong when it's actually not. So they also claim that you should wait about 24 hours after you masturbate to masturbate again for a recovery period. But if you get aroused 20 minutes later, well, I mean, go ahead. I mean, it's not gonna do any harm to you by masturbating more than once. The only way that you should probably not, if you experience any kind of pain or discomfort, like if you ejaculate too much, then you should probably stop. If it's like an obsession thing where you just excessively do it over and over again, well, that's a different story. That's a totally different spectrum of things. If you do it to the point where you're harming yourself, well, then maybe look into that and get help, because you shouldn't be doing anything over excessively, because anything over excessively is too much. In moderation, anything is pretty much fine, but if you do it excessively, well, it can always create a problem. It doesn't matter what it is. But it's not all bad. Masturbation and ejaculation is good for your prostate, so it's not. So you should definitely masturbate, and if you don't have any like a sexual partner, even if you do, it's fine if you do, but it's just important for your physical health as a man to masturbate as regularly. It's good for your body. So if you avoid the mistakes or things that you shouldn't do, talked about according to what they say on the internet, but you can't really believe on the internet, and you can question whether the velocity, no, I don't know the word. You can question whether or not what I say is bullcrap or not. Do your own research. This video is just for basic information to give you stuff to think about, to give you something to question, and I'm not an expert in any means, but these are my experiences and my thoughts and what I experienced myself. So don't take my word as it being a fact. These are my opinions and my experiences. So you can, always do research. Doesn't matter what you watch on, especially on social media. You always have to research everything to make sure that everything is correct. And there you go. So if you want to see fully nude content, if that's a thing, so speaking of masturbation, so if you want to see masturbation, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Savin, hope to catch you in the comments. See you later.